Welcome back to Brightside here on 10 Tampa Bay. You know where your hurricane headquarters as we head into the second week of hurricane season. We've already seen one named storm. This morning, let's go beyond the headline and take a look at who gets to pick those names and some changes that we could see this season.
The National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration says tropical storms and hurricanes were tracked by number and year until the 1950s. But the experts decided short, easily remembered names would be better for communication, especially if several storms were being tracked at once. At first, it was just female names. But by 1979, male and female names were used for storms in the Atlantic Basin. NOAA's National Hurricane Center does not decide the names. That's the responsibility of the World Meteorological Organization. So there's 6 lists with 21 names each, one for every letter except Q, U, X, Y, and Z. The lists are used on a 6-year rotation, and it only changes if a storm is so deadly or costly that the name is retired, and using it again just would not be appropriate. If there ever is another season where more storms develop than the names on the list for the season, instead of using the Greek alphabet like we did to name the additional storms in 2020 and in 2005, the World Meteorological Organization has decided to try to reduce confusion. A supplemental list of 21 names will now be used if the designated names for the season are used up.
All right, so here's the list for 2021. We've already had Anna, but a lot of the names on the list, sometimes, I shouldn't say a lot of, but sometimes you might look at it and go, well, that's an odd name. Well, odd for English, right? Claudette, perhaps, or maybe Victor. Maybe not a normal English name, but we have to consider all of the nations represented in the Atlantic Basin. So that's why you might get, obviously we have English names, but also French names and Spanish names as well. You have several French-speaking nations, or at least territories, in the Caribbean. And then, of course, you've got Mexico as well, where you get a lot of the Spanish names on those lists. So there you go. And again, they're not chosen by us. It's the World Meteorological Organization. Each year they look out and they see if we need to retire a name and then what we would replace that name if a storm's name is retired. Right now, the Atlantic is all relatively calm except for this tiny little corner in the southwestern Caribbean where it's actually quiet now as well. But over the next 5 days, we may see some development. A trough of low pressure may turn into an area of low pressure, at which point, 20% chance that it develops into a tropical cyclone. The waters are certainly warm enough to support a hurricane. Hurricanes need temperatures to be at least 80 degrees to have enough energy to fuel the development of those hurricanes. In fact, interestingly enough, Clearwater Beach temperature yesterday for the first time cracked the 90-degree mark. It cooled overnight, but yesterday afternoon, the temperature was up above 90 degrees, and that means it's bathwater, guys, if you head out into the Gulf of Mexico.